Hi, it's Sister Edgington here. Welcome to week 11. This is 11.01 instructor input and guided reading for history cycle number 1 of week 11. So I want to give you just a little bit of guided reading, just some input about the readings that you are going to encounter. If you chose last week to do reading number 7, written by Jefferson, for your initial assignment, then you are going to do reading number 12, written by Booker T. Washington, in Perspectives in the History and Philosophy of Education. Booker T. Washington's article is entitled The Educational Outlook in the South. And so I wanted to provide you with a little bit of background and history on him so that you would maybe understand where he was coming from in his writing. So first of all, Booker T. Washington was an American educator, author, orator, and advisor to presidents of the United States. He was a dominant leader in the African American community, and he was from the last generation of Black American leaders that were born into slavery. He became the leading voice of former slaves and of many of their descendants. He called for Black progress through education and entrepreneurship, and he mobilized an interesting coalition of people. It included middle-class Blacks, church leaders, and white philanthropists and politicians. And the goal of this coalition was to build economic strength and pride by focusing on self-help and schooling. So, reading number 14, The Educational Outlook in the South. If you chose reading number 10 for your initial assignment, then you are going to read from Perspectives in the History and Philosophy of Education, reading number 18, which is called The Cardinal Principles of Secondary Education. A commission was formed in 1915 to reorganize secondary education. And one of the main reasons that this occurred was because of the increased enrollment in secondary schools. And so this coalition came up with 7 guiding principles for secondary education. The first principle was health. The premise was that a secondary school should encourage good health habits, give health instruction, and provide physical activities in a secondary school. Secondary education students should also gain a command of fundamental processes: writing, reading, oral and written expression, and math. The third principle was to learn about worthy home membership. This was developing qualities that would make the individual a worthy member of a family, both contributing to and deriving benefit from that membership in a family. The fourth principle, vocation. The objective of this principle was that students would get to know themselves well, and they would learn about a variety of careers in order to help them choose the most suitable career for each of them. Principle number 5 was civic education. So this was to encourage students to develop an awareness and concern for their own community. Principle 6, worthy use of leisure. This is an interesting one. The idea behind this principle is that students would gain the skills that would help enrich their bodies, minds, spirits, and personalities in their leisure. And the schools were supposed to provide appropriate recreation and leisure time for these students. Think how different that is in reality today. The final principle was ethical character, and this was the notion of personal responsibility and initiative. So the idea was that all of these 7 principles are interrelated, and that students must be willing to follow these and an ethical character, and this would allow them to be able to learn the things that they needed to learn in a secondary education setting. So interesting stuff this week. Good luck with all of your assignments. I hope you have a wonderful week.